one or two, but this one was three. And I had my son with me. We celebrated Thanksgiving together, and that was the first time I think we had a Thanksgiving together, probably about 10 or 15 years or more. So we enjoyed each other's company during that time. My daughter-in-law and my wife was upstairs doing the cooking, and we were downstairs watching the game, and we enjoyed it. And speaking of football, it is said that a gentleman that went by the name of Red Sanders, he was the football coach for UCLA Bruins back in 1950. He made a statement that when if you find out what he said, he says that winning is everything. And then he paused and he said, winning is the only thing. Now in 1959, Vince Lombardi was saying it's basically the same thing. Winning is everything. Winning is everything. What they were trying to do is to impress upon the listeners how important, the team, how important it is to win in the game of football. It is very important. That's what the point that they were trying to get across. So the point that I want to get across today is the power of consciousness. I would say consciousness is everything. And if I had to put a title to my talk today, that's what I would name it. Consciousness is really everything. Dr. Holmes says, and this is a direct quote, the ultimate goal of life is complete freedom from all discourse of every nature, and that this goal is surely to be attained by all. Think about that. Freedom from discourse of every nature, and everybody is going to get it? Wow. That is something else. Think about that. The theme for this month is I trust in the power of Spirit. And when we make such a claim that we trust in the power of the Spirit, we are claiming the same power that Spirit has. The same power that Spirit has. Why? Because there is only one Spirit. There's only one Spirit. And we claim that. We have the power to multiply fish and loaves. Every one of you up there has the power to heal the sick, to raise the dead, to heal your own body, your own mind, and your own affairs. You have that power. And the foundation for that statement that I just made is God is perfect, and so are we. Remember, we are made in the image and likeness of God. Therefore, we are perfect. So if you don't feel perfect, then what? What if you had pain when you got up this morning? What if the news was reporting sickness, disease, and unrest in Ferguson, Missouri, Los Angeles, California, and Oakland, California? What if you had all of those things and you're going to sit up there and tell me is that this discourse is not real? In spite of what you read, such discords are not real. Such discords are not real. To say that your aches and pains are not real may sound confusion. So let me explain before you start throwing overripe fruit and raw eggs at me. Just want to stand it up before you. Since we in religious science don't tell you what to think, we start off by saying, only God is real. Only God is real. And that put a stop to anything else being real, doesn't it? Only God is real. One life. That put a stop to separation, doesn't it? One life. One life. That put a stop to your separation. So it's all about consciousness, isn't it? It's all about consciousness. While those negative conditions you encounter or that you experience may seem real to you, they are not real to God. That which is perfect cannot recognize that which is imperfect. That which is perfect cannot recognize that which is imperfect. If you knew you was perfect, which you are, you would not experience discord. So the more you get away from experiencing the negativities of life, the more you will go toward a consciousness of freedom, peace, and happiness. So taking a step back, God created you in His image, and God gave you volition so that you could create yourself. God gave you volition so that you can create yourself. Since you made in the image of God, God created, you made in that image, therefore you have the ability to create too. Volition is the ability to decide, to choose one course of action over another. And this is what we do. So what did you do with your power to create? You created suffering, sickness, diseases, troubles. That is what you did with your creative power. But we create good in our lives too. But if you start thinking about it, would you prefer to create more good in your life or more discord? And I think I would get it with something we prefer to create more good in our life. We still, as I said, create a lot of good, but we also create some unwanted and unwelcome discord. By law, every choice made has a consequence. You have volition, you make choices. Every choice has a consequence. But let me just say, we don't really create, just like we really don't cook. This is a metaphysical chart. I'm going to show you. The metaphysical chart. This is the input up here. These are the things that, this is your consciousness, the choices you make, the decision that you made. This is what this top section represents. This middle section is the law. It is impersonal. It will create for you whatever you put into it. It doesn't joke. So be careful what you put into it. And down here, that's the result. That's the result. So if you put peace and harmony in up here, it goes through, makes this process, and you get peace and harmony down here. Then the flip side of that also applies. You start putting negativity here, you're going to get it out of here. So we do not create, but we invoke the law which creates, just like we do not cook. We turn on the heat and mix the ingredients and put it over there, and the heat does the cooking. And the same thing applies to this law. We invoke the law, and the law creates for us a physical likeness of our consciousness. A physical likeness. That which God created is perfect. God knows the law. Now how to use it, we don't know the law, nor do we know how to use it. But ignorance of the law is no excuse. Anyone ever had a class in law? Know that. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. But this is where the evidence tend to show a departure from the creative perfection of God to the creative of imperfection of man. The discord that we have came into existence through our choices and decisions. So we end up making a choice, and the choices that we make tend to lead us or to get us places where we do not want to be. So then we start asking God to remove these blocks that we have put in there. But God didn't put it there. God did not put those blocks in there. Your consciousness, the things that you keep in your mind on a daily basis, is what put you there. So why ask God to remove them when you put them there? They're yours to do what you want. If you want to keep them and start blaming God for not removing them, that's your problem. You're responsible for that. You get a consciousness of peace, happiness, prosperity in your life, and that is what you will get in reality. Peace, harmony, prosperity. God caused an evolutionary process to go in one direction, and we cause the evolutionary process to go in another direction. Now, what is this? But mental separation from God. Mental separation from God. So we separate ourselves. So then why is it that we should start blaming God for our being separated when we are not physically separated? We are not separated by truth. We are separated through illusions. The original design of you that God, when God created you, that original design in God's sight. That's how God sees you. God made you perfect. And that pattern, you might say, of perfection still exists in God's sight. That's only you that God sees. God does not see the imperfect you, because that which is perfect cannot recognize that which is imperfect. God's creations are real. That which you created is an illusion, a mirage, something appearing real. It is not real. Think from this one, as I trust in the power of Spirit, this power will be useless to you until you learn how to use it. So it should be a priority in our life to learn how to use this power. The only thing, I think this is important to know, is that the only thing that you will ever suffer from is an illusion in your mind. An illusion, that's the only thing you will ever suffer from. Because God is perfect. We created the life that we live. And we will continue to live this life with unwanted events appearing everywhere unless we make up our mind that we are going to do something about it. Because that's the only way it's going to be changed. The only way it will ever be changed. So if the question arises, then what step do you take to learn how to use this power? My first recommendation is don't go to your director to look up someone to call. Because that's not where the answers are. God has all the answers. God is everywhere, so God being everywhere, God is within you. Never pray to a God that is outside of you. Never consider a God outside of you. God is within you, and you are in God. And you should know that the power is, because if you don't know that it is, you will be thinking that it isn't. Know that the power is. Know that there is one power, no duality, one God, in all, over all, and through all. One power. Know that you're a spiritual being, having a human experience. And then you can desire the ability to use this power, and that's the first thing. You must desire desire the ability to use this power. Imagine yourself using this power and practice, continue to practice using this power. Just see where this experience or this adventure into Christ-seeking will take you. See where it will take you. And we know that it will always be good. It will always be God. I think I shared with you some time ago when I was about the second or third grade, I don't remember. The teacher asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up. I don't know what I said then, but I do remember this question remaining with me. In fact, it remains with me to this day. And every time I came up with what I thought I wanted to be, there was always something greater. Some of the fellows in my class said that they wanted to be a fireman. So I said, why not the fire chief? I didn't tell them that, but these are some thoughts that I had. Why not the fire chief? And every time I think of something, there's always something greater. So my decision was, I wanted to be God. Now top that. And since that time, I'm studying, meditating for a clear understanding. I'm using quotes from spiritual teachers, Bible verses, and ideas from other sacred texts like the Bhagavad Gita and the Tao Te Ching. Truth is always truth, no matter where it is to be found. So there are four such quotes, I guess you would call them, that I want to share with you to make my final point. And this first quote is found in the Bible, John 15:7, not John here, but you know, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the four Gospels, found in that. John 15:7 says, if you abide in me, and my word abide in you, you can ask whatever you will, and it shall be done unto you. Now that's a promise, isn't it? That's a promise. The second is also found in John 14:12, and this is paraphrased. The work that I do, you can do also, and even greater works than these shall you be able to do. Now that's also a good promise. The third one is found in 1 Corinthians 2:9. It says that the eyes have not seen, the ears have not heard, nor has it entered into the heart of people what God has prepared for those who love Him. That's something that we can't even imagine. Good that we can't even imagine. And then fourth, and Dr. Holmes says, we must be open if we are to receive. So one drop at a time, ladies and gentlemen, is what it's going to take to get us where we are now to where we wish to be. Each drop of truth should be used as a stepping stone that lead us to a deeper awareness. So if I was to ask a question, are we there yet? I would get a resounding no, because everyone knows that we're not there yet. But Dr. Holmes said that we will get there. So my question is, when are you going to start on that direction? Therefore, I cannot tell you what I'm going to be when I grow up. Because I don't know. The eyes have not seen, the ears have not heard, and I am not ready to quit. And I challenge you to continue on a path of growth, of spiritual awareness, so that you can experience these things. You're not going to start at the bottom and get at the top tomorrow. One drop on the time in the direction that you can start seeing changes, small changes in your life. And the more you go along, the more you will experience these changes. Changes for good, changes for the better. You see, I think it's best to shoot for the stars in mist than to aim for mediocrity, to be average and succeed. Because if you succeed in that, you'll be just like everybody else. And if you're just like everybody else, what do you have to offer society? What do you have to offer the world? Nothing. Because you're just like everybody else. Let me close with a statement that quote from Dr. Holmes. This is a direct quote. We should venture forth into a life of action. That's action. That's we taking the lead. We should venture forth into a life of action with the will to do, the determination to be, and a joy in becoming. And so we